Here we are on a Saturday. I know it's a last minute class, so thank you for jumping on, everybody that is here. I think that's so awesome of you. And basically what happened is yesterday's class number 4 was awesome, but it did not get recorded or it did not save. So it gives me the opportunity to redo the class, and so I can record it for everybody. And why not do it in a live and get the opportunity to at least get going this morning with some of you. And so let's go ahead and get started. So just like yesterday, I'm gonna go through some of the, we're gonna go through a couple of things before we get started. You'll see me looking up at the wall as I have a couple of my cue notes to make sure that I don't forget anything. As well, like I said in the email, if you did get a chance to read it, I hope you stretched before. We will do front belt stretches and a little heart opener as always. But other than that, we're gonna kick it right into gear after that. We're gonna go through all of the exercises that we have done previously in the last 3 weeks, kicking up the reps or kicking up the reps in all of them, as well as adding in one new exercise for our front belt series. So what we're gonna focus on is, as always, wherever you're at today, you're at. So if your reps are at 3, if your reps are at 5, if you wanna go extra and bring it up to 8, that's on you. And I want you to go ahead and honor where you're at. As long as you stay controlled and activated, stay in your proper form, then that's what matters most, right? So we're gonna go ahead and get started with a stretch this morning. Standing in front of the hammock, we're gonna throw the fabric over our shoulders, going into our Y stretch, taking our hands high above our head and bringing them forward, opening up into a big V with your arms, and then diving your hands back through center, creating a double wrap on the arms here. Go ahead and drop the arms. We're gonna go into our little marionette. So standing nice and tall, feet are planted into the ground here. We're gonna make sure we have nice loose shoulders, so loosey-goosey, give them a little shimmy, a little shake. Make sure your arms are nice and relaxed as well. We're gonna start to walk forward, keeping a straight but neutral spine. Allow the hammock to pull your arms back, coming to that front belt tension where you feel that your body says, that's good. That's where we're gonna stop. Allowing the hammock also to be gently squeezing your shoulder blades together here. As you softly press forward with your chest, start to round your gaze up towards the ceiling. Taking a big breath in here, filling up the chest, filling up the lungs, opening up the rib cage, allowing that belly to fill up with that nice fresh air. And as you exhale, melting forward just a little further, maybe chin comes to chest and you bow the crown of the head forward as well. Start to slowly lift off of the ground with your heels, coming up on the balls of the feet. Maybe take a little step forward to get a little more tension here. Once again, we're gonna round our gaze all the way up. So we have a straight spine, but we're rounding our shoulders back and allowing the hammock to squeeze our shoulder blades together. You might feel little tinglies in your arms here. It's normal. Go ahead, wiggle out your fingers, but keep pressing forward. Big inhale one more time. As you exhale, bow the crown of the head forward, melting that chest forward as well, and allowing the hammock to pull the arms back. Maybe shake your arms and shoulders gently, and exhale, slowly drop the heels to the mat. We're gonna walk back to our center point, allowing the hammock to soften around our arms as we unravel the arms and throw the hammock behind us. Going right into our front belt stretches. Take a step behind our hammock here at center point, grabbing onto that hammock like a rope in front of you. Separate your hands just wider than hip distance apart. Push down on that hammock, bringing the elbows forward, and walk forward to front belt tension on the balls of your feet. We're gonna stop here for a stretch. So coming forward to front belt tension, making sure the hammock is locked across your hip flexors here. Pressing the heels together as you press your heels, or as you press the balls of the feet heavy down into the mat, keeping the heels high off of the mat. We're gonna tighten that core. So I want you to draw your belly into your spine here, nice tight core. We're gonna reach out with both arms, opening up our chest, opening up our arms, extending our fingertips wide to both sides of the room. Round the shoulders back, press your chest forward, big breath in. As you exhale, reach those fingertips out to the sides, roll the shoulders back and round your gaze forward. Now with that controlled belly, we're gonna sweep down to the floor. So it looks like this. We're gonna slowly lower Take our arms and sweep them across the floor, across our body, open back up, and with our core, lift back up, chest forward, chin up. We're gonna do it 3 times. So big breath in, exhale, lean forward, cross those arms in front, sweep and lift. Inhale, exhale, drop, sweep. Inhale, lift. Last time, big breath. And sweep the arms down. Use that core to lift the body all the way up. You should also feel a stretch to the back of the hamstrings here. Now slowly start to lower as you drop your fingertips to the mat, softening that lower back here. Fingertips are glued to the mat here. Tippy toes or balls of the feet are pressed down into the mat and the heels are up high. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the crown of the head here so that we're looking at our knees, and take a big breath in. As you exhale, take a little bend in both knees, maybe about 6 inches, dropping your hips heavy into the fabric here. Inhale, extend both knees, rock forward, bringing your nose up towards your fingertips. And as you exhale, bend both knees once again, dropping down a little bit further. Send that tailbone to the back of the room. Keep the heels up. Inhale and extend both knees, rocking forward. We're gonna take 1 step back with both feet. Keeping the heels up here, we're gonna start to do our pedals and get into the hamstrings. So using your fingertips on the floor of the mat, we're gonna push away from the mat and press down with our left heel, keeping a nice big bend in our right knee. Try to keep that left leg straight if you can to really open up the hamstrings. But if you can't, a little bend here. We're gonna go ahead and rock forward, drop that right heel, bend that left knee. Now we're gonna do this 5 times to both sides. So inhale as you rock forward, straightening both knees. Exhale, drop that left heel. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, right. Inhale. For 4, drop the left. Rocking forward, big breath as you exhale, press that right heel down, heavy into the mat. Inhale, rock forward. As you exhale and drop the heel, really pressing the heel down like you're trying to imprint it into the ground. Rocking forward, drop that right heel. 2 more times. Rock forward and left. Inhale. Exhale, right. 1 more time to both sides. Dropping that left heel with a big exhale. 1 more time, inhale and right. Lifting both heels once again, we're gonna take a little step back and out with both feet. So we're still not under center point. You're still forward with a little bit of tension here. And our feet are separated a little wider than hip distance apart. Let's go ahead and drop that left heel, keeping a nice big bend in our right knee. Keeping that left hand tented and fingertipped glued to the ground. Take your right hand and diagonal it underneath the body across and grab onto the outer left knee, chin, calf, ankle, wherever you feel comfortable. Go ahead and take a big breath in as you exhale. Start to twist to face the left side of the room. Try to keep that left heel down, pressed into the mat, nice bend in that right knee. As you exhale, maybe try to twist a little farther each time or press that heel down a little farther. Take a big breath in here, and now as you exhale, you can stay where you're at, or you can press that right heel down to the mat as well, extending your right knee. Take a big breath wherever you are right now. And as you exhale, rock forward, coming off of your heels, and bring your right hand back to the mat. We're gonna do the same thing for the left here, or for the right. So go ahead and drop that right heel. Nice big bend in the left knee, and we're going to keep the right fingertips on the mat as we take our left hand, diagonal it under the body, and grabbing onto the outer part of the right leg. Start to slowly twist to face the right side of the room as you exhale. Take a big breath in here, breathing into that tension or tightness you might feel all through the back of your hamstrings, back of your knees, thighs, calves. Big breath in, and as you exhale here, you can stay where you're at with that left knee bent, or drop that left heel, extending that left knee, twisting the body here as far as you can, monitoring your own resistance. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, release, coming forward as you lift your heels. Now what we're gonna do is high five our mat, big open palms, and either lift the legs to glide back, or you can walk back to your TP pose. Floating back here, Opening up those palms, gluing them to the mat. Arms are extended forward here, so you're getting a nice big stretch all the way through your underarms. Legs are extended and toes are just hovering over the mat here. We're going to go ahead and start off by bending that left knee, bringing it tight into your chest and squeezing that left heel into your glute, keeping that right leg extended and right toe on the mat. Big breath in. As you exhale, switch. Right knee tight to chest, right heel into glute, and left foot down to the mat. We're going to do 5 of those, a little bit more fluidity. So inhale. As you exhale, switch. Left, inhale. Exhale, switch right. Switch left for 4, and right, left, and right. Big breath in, left for 2, and right. 1, and right. And drop both toes to the mat here. Continuing to keep those arms extended, palms are flat. We're going to go ahead and bend both knees, bringing our heels tight into our bums and squeezing those knees into our chest here. Let's go ahead and wag this out or sway. So using the palms that are glued to the mat, you're going to start to just sway right to left with the hips as they hang in the hammock here, keeping the knees heavy to the mat here so you stay nice and weighted in your fabric. Big breaths. As you sway right to left, try to use the momentum of this motion to allow the hips to just push into or get that extra tension release here in that side fabric. I lost my words, so we'll just improvise. Slowly allow that sway to come to a stillness by just naturally coming to a stop. And here, we're going to go ahead and keep those knees up. Keep our toes together, send our knees out wide for our wishbone. And here we're going to go back into a sway. So I really want you to focus on knees out nice and wide, pressing those big toes together here and really keeping those heels in as close to your glutes as you can. So you should feel this pressing into and releasing tension into your front belt, into your psoas here on the side. We're going to slowly come back to our center stillness by allowing the hammock to come to a stop. And then squeezing the knees together, keeping those knees tight into your chest. We're going to send our toes out nice and wide for the dovetail. So you should instantly feel this pressure here in the sides by our psoas and the tops of our IT bands. Keeping those knees as tight together and close to your chest as you can. Keep those toes out as far as you can and start to sway right to left. Allowing that momentum to start to press the hips into the fabric once again. Big breaths here. Do not forget to breathe. Breathe into that tightness or the tension that you feel. Exhaling it as well. Slowly coming back to center stillness once again. Allow this to organically just come to a stop. Now from here, we're going to go into our wishbone dovetail switches. We're going to do 5 of these, and it's going to look like this. We're going to bring our toes together, send those knees out nice and wide, squeeze those knees back in together, send those toes out nice and wide. And we're going to do this in a pretty quick fashion so we really get a nice deep tissue massage here. So dropping the crown of the head, arms are extended, palms are flat, knees are close to chest here. We're going to start off with our wishbone. So toes stay together, knees go out nice and wide, and switch. Knees together, toes out wide, switch. Toes in, knees out, knees in, toes out, and wishbone for 3. Inhale, exhale, dovetail. 2. Wishbone, dovetail. 1 more. Inhale, wishbone, exhale, squeeze those knees and send those toes out for dovetail. Go ahead and bring those toes together. We're going to drop our toes back to the mat here. We're almost done. Go ahead, extend those arms back out nice and wide. If they aren't already, palms are glued down. Legs are extended, and we're going to take our toes and lift our legs here so that they're almost parallel to the mat. And just using our body from the hips down, we're going to slowly press those toes down. Take a big breath in. We're going to do 5 of those. As you exhale, lift the legs, keeping those ankles glued together. Toes go to the back of the room. As you exhale, press those toes down. Remember, from the hips up to the fingertips, your body is stationary. We're going to do 4 more. Inhale, lift the legs. Exhale, drop them down. And lift for 3. Drop it down. Inhale, 2, up. Exhale, down. Last one, big breath in, up. Send those toes back to the back of the room. Exhale, press those toes down. And now we're going to separate our toes nice and wide into our straddle pose. And once again, keeping the top of the body stationary, we're going to lift our toes here so that they're nice and parallel to the ground, and pop the legs out here so you get a nice big stretch or a nice big release here in the sides of our hips once again. And then we'll draw our toes back in and down into straddle. We'll do this 5 times. So inhale, draw the feet up, send them out, bring them back down. Inhale, up, out, in, down. For 3, out, in, down, up, out, in, down. Last one, up, out, in, down. Go ahead and walk those toes back to center here, coming back to your TP. And now dropping both feet to the mat. Start to walk all the way past your center point, coming to front belt tension and planting your feet back down into the ground. Slowly start to walk your hands up towards the top of your thighs and take a little rest here, a little front belt fold, or a little neutral fold here as you allow the blood flow to regulate. And slowly start to extend the knees, body roll up or cat back up here. I'm going to go ahead and throw the hammock back. Now at any point in time throughout our exercises, feel free to stop, grab a sip of water to hydrate yourself, take a break if necessary. Please know that with all of these core exercises, too much water in between, as you know, without the time to let it settle, might give you that wonky feeling. So little sips are always best. Simple and I'm sure well-known fact, but I figure I'd share. Now from here, we're gonna go right into our small pouch core workouts. So what we're gonna do is find that front edge of the hammock. And today we're gonna do it a little bit different. We're gonna fold this hammock into quarters. So taking that front edge, making sure you have the cut edge of the hammock here, give a little wave, make sure that there's no wrinkles and folds in your material. Step to the side of the hammock. So here I'm facing the hammock and I'm going to hold up that front edge with my right hand. I'm going to find the back edge of the hammock with my opposite hand. So for me, that's my left hand. Find the cut edge. So I have both edges of the fabric in my hand and I'm facing my hammock. Here it looks like a boat. I'm going to take both edges and meet them in the center of the hammock, transferring both of those edges, cut edges, to my left or my back hand. And then I'm going to take that hand to the back wall. So I have a nice fresh folded edge here on the front. And I'm going to take that with my front hand, my right hand, and I'm going to meet in the center once again. So we've quarter folded this. We're going to take both of those edges and bring it to the back wall. So now we have a freshly folded front edge once again. Push down. So for me, again, right hand, I have a big thumbs up. I'm going to press my thumb down heavy into that front folded edge and take a big step forward, taking that hammock with me just so I don't lose that hammock fold. And I'm going to bring my opposite back hand, left hand forward, thumb inside, and then just rainbowing my opposite hand behind. So now I have my little shelf behind me. Coming back to your center point, go ahead and lift and scoop the hammock. So now we have a really soft pouch here for all of this, for this next exercise here. And we're gonna go ahead and create our small little pouch. We don't have to really go running through the mud here because it's already nice and high up on our thighs and it's already nice and low up on our back. So go ahead and grab by your hips. If you can, grab all that hammock like a rope here by your side. We're gonna go ahead and bend those knees. Toes are pointed to the ground nice and heavy. Keep those knees bent and we're going to tighten our core. So we're gonna draw our belly into spine. Nice tight lower core here. And we're going to chin to chest, slowly start to lower back. So we're at about a 45-degree incline here. Lift both hands up nice and high. And we're going to extend our legs forward in a lever. We're going to go ahead and start off. And with all of these, we're going to focus on reps of 5. And we're going to do 3 rounds of everything. Again, go ahead and alter the reps if you need for yourself. We're going to start with our flutter kicks here. So this movement, once again, is going to happen with that lower core, and that does mean our lower abdomen as well as our lower back muscles. And we're going to flutter here for 5, 4, toes are pointed, 3, 2, 1, still the leg, keep the toes pointed and turn the soles of the feet into touch. We're going to start to scissor kick here. Nice big scissor kicks back and forth. Again, lower core is creating this movement for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the legs back to stillness. Here we're going to start to lower our back down a little closer to parallel to the mat and drop our hands down to both sides, palms open and facing down. If you have to hold here on the front, go ahead and do that. Challenge yourself maybe by alternating. But we're going to pulse those hands down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reach up high, lift that back up to a 45-degree incline and send those legs out nice and wide into a straddle. Toes pointed, and we're gonna lift our toes up and out to touch the ceiling, using that lower core for this motion and keeping your back and your upper body still. Slowly lower back down to parallel and up for 5, 4. You should have minimal movement in the hammock if you're using that core. It'll be a good indicator for you that those muscles are activated and in gear. One more, touch them up and down. Feet together, let's flutter for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Still the legs, turn the soles of the feet in and scissor kick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Still the legs, drop the back and pulse the hands down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reach up high, lift that back up, extend the legs, open up into a straddle, and toe touch up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more round, we're almost there. Legs together and flutter. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Still the legs, soles of the feet in and scissor kick. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Still the legs. We're gonna go ahead and hold, drop the back, drop the hands and pulse down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last set. Open up those legs, straddle ups for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, bring those legs together, bend the knees, drop the toes, and slowly lift yourself back up. Maybe pulling that hammock down here to the mid-thighs. Keeping your arms on the back side of the hammock. We're going to take a little break and just a few breaths. We don't want to break too long. We want to keep this fire going. So maybe bow your head forward. Take those breaths, or this is a good moment to take a quick few sips. Remember, we're going into standing crunches. So you don't want too much. While you're taking the last few moments here, for our standing crunches today, we're going to do one round of each of the 3 inclines, and we're going to do reps of 8. Again, adjust appropriately. So standing in front of the hammock here at center, bring those arms up nice and high and back through the hammock. Taking the hammock, creating a back belt, a lower back belt below your pant line here at the lower sacrum at your hip bones. We're gonna hold on to that hammock nice and tight by the hips with our hands. And we're going to walk back, start to stand up high on the balls of the feet. So lifting the heels here. Feet are just hip distance apart, coming all the way back till you can't walk back anymore. Elbows are bent, facing back to the back of the room. Now what we're doing is we're standing up here, and we're gonna take a really big focus on our negatives today. So that means, and I'm gonna show you as we go down and lower into our position, we have a nice tight core. We're lowering here like a drawbridge for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then we come up using those core muscles nice and tight. 1, 2, 3. Again, this is how it looks. Lower 1, 2, 3. And coming up 1, 2, 3. So if you aren't already there, let's go ahead and adjust. Make sure that hammock is here at the lower sacrum, hands at the side, feet are hip distance apart, heels are high up. And we're gonna go ahead and tighten that core, start to slowly lower down about 8 inches here. And we're gonna come up for 1. Slow lower, 1, 2, 3, up for 2, and back. 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, one more, 8. We're going to take 1 step forward and out, bending at the knees here, little crab legs. Keep that core nice and tight. This time we're going to lower about 10 to 12 inches. So we're about a 45-degree angle once again. Keep that core tight. We're going to bring it up, nose in between fabric, and lower. There's 1. Up. 1, 2, 3. Lower. There's 2. Again, up for 3. 4, 5, 2 more, 6, last one. All the way down and back up. Last set, big step forward and out so that we're under our center point. Nice wide stance with our knees. And we're gonna lower our back as close to parallel as we can. Bring it all the way up, crunch. 1, 2, 3. Promise these are worth it, guys. 4, halfway there, almost done. 6, 2 more, 7, last one, all the way down and up. 8. Let's go ahead and walk back, drop the feet. Take a little breath here. If you'd like to bring the hammock to your mid-back, leaning into back tension, and cross the arms in front of your body here, behind the hammock. So elbows are out, palms are together. You can even lean forward and rest your forehead on this. This is one of my favorites, actually. This is from Anti-Gravity, or I'm sure a lot of people do it, but in Anti-Gravity, we call this chillax, which I thought was so cute. So now when you're ready, if you are leaning back, reach up high, grab onto that hammock, and just give yourself a little tug up. I'm gonna take a sip of water, and we'll get right into our floating levers. So our floated levers are the new exercises that we are adding in today. For these, there are 2 options, 2 levels. If you would like a little bit more support with your core as you're building still, we're gonna use that quarter hammock that we used for our floated small pouch exercises. So as a reminder, you're gonna fold both edges together and then again, both edges together, creating a nice little pouch for yourself here to float in. Again, to get in, you'll just find that front edge and scoop your body into the hammock, creating a small little pouch here. Now, if you would like to take it up a notch and you feel comfortable and you would like to give yourself a little bit extra push, we're gonna go ahead and use a back belt to float with this. So standing at center, arms back in through, grab onto that hammock like a rope and create your back belt at your lower sacrum, hands at the side. If you need to, you can walk all the way back, leaning back, and then do a little crab walk forward so that you can lock that lower sacrum into place. Here, what you'll do either way, you can do it straight from center too. Either way, you're going to float the knees up, bringing the toes together, knees out wide, and bringing the hands up high. So this is your little saucer. We're gonna now squeeze those knees in together, and our first exercises are gonna be little marches, and we're gonna alternate our legs by bending one knee and extending the opposite leg. It's gonna look like this. And again, to let you know, we're gonna do reps of 5. Here you can do 3 to start, since these are new, and we're gonna do no rounds. So as an example for our first exercise, left knee is gonna stay bent and into chest, heels into my glute. I'm gonna extend that right leg out and lever it parallel, pointing my toe forward to the front of the room, and switch. Right knee in, left leg out. And we'll do that 5 times. So Take a big breath in, keep that core nice and tight. Left knee stays bent. Extend right, bring it in, and left. Bring it in for 4. Right, left, right, and left. 2 more. Right, left. 1 more set. Right, left. Now we're going to go ahead, keep that left knee in, extend that right leg out, and lift that right leg about 6 to 8 inches and lower. Bring it up and down, and up and down for 3, 2, and 1. Bring that right knee in. At any point in time, if you feel that your belt is slipping or that you need to change the position, please feel free to take the time to do that. I'd rather you take the time to be in a proper form, proper position, proper belt, so that you can get the most out of these. I myself need to adjust. So I'm going to create my back belt, getting right back in here. I'm going to keep my right knee bent, right glute or right heel into my glute, extend that left leg out and lift 6 to 8 inches. 1, drop it down. 2, and down. 3, and down. 4, down. 1 more. 5, and down. Bringing the left knee in, so both knees into chest. We're going to do our final exercises, which is a 2-leg lever, pressing both legs out and forward. You can draw your hands down to help balance yourself. Bending the left or both knees in and lifting both hands. We're going to do that 5 times. Go ahead, extend to lever. Bring the knees in for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Let's go ahead and lower both feet down to the mat. And again, if you would like to take a sip of water or a breath or 2 in a relaxing pose, take that moment here. We're going to get into our front belt conditioning next. It's here. All right. So coming back to the back side of our hammock, I'm going to go through a couple little pointers first before we get started. So feel free to continue to take that moment. We are going to work on reps of 8 today, and we're going to do no rounds for these. We're going to have about 6 different exercises that we're going to focus on these. All are on today. All of these have been done previously, so I do want to make a point to show you that when we are lifting our legs and floating them off the mat, obviously our focus is always going to be our full 360 core, especially focusing here on that lower core. But we want to make sure that when we're lifting our legs, we're doing it not only with that lower back core, but with our glute here, that lower glute, the top of the thigh, really squeezing and engaging all of this as we lift. So you're going to feel this here from right below the rib cage all the way through to the top of the thigh, or you should. And then we're going to extend through our pointed toe. So keeping that full leg activated, whether you're lifting one or both, we want to make sure that we're optimizing everything here in this front belt exercise. Another thing, at the end of the 6 exercises, we're going to go ahead and fold, take a few breaths, breathe, and then we're going to come up and challenge ourselves here today, if you haven't already, and see where you're at now 4 weeks in. See if you're able to hold in a float with arms extended or even arms down to the side, or even with your arms or hands just alternating and releasing, giving yourself a little bit extra challenge and seeing where you're really at here. So let's go ahead to the back side of the hammock and we're going to get started. Coming into our front belt straight from center, we're going to separate our hands high up on the balls of the feet, bending one knee, send the opposite leg back. I'm going to do my left. Now, sending both legs back here, make sure that that hammock is in fact across the hip flexors, locked into those hip bones, that it's not in the lower belly or not up in the top of the thighs. Now for me today, I am going to do all the exercises with my hands down, but like I've said, feel free to be wherever you are at today. I might alternate here as well. So I like to usually play around with different movements. I believe it challenges my body in different ways to react and then correct certain things. Excuse me. So with that being said, making sure that those toes or those legs are separated a little wider than hip distance apart. Toes are pointed and we're nice and strong all the way around that 360 lower core from our back down to the tops of our thighs here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start off with our straddle up downs, and I'm gonna show you what that looks like. I'm gonna lift both legs up here about 8 to 10, 12 inches and drop them back down to kiss the floor. And we're gonna do that 8 times. Let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and lift and drop for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're gonna go ahead here, keeping those legs together, or legs separated in straddle, and we're gonna do alternating leg lifts. So I'm gonna start by keeping that left toe on the ground, and I'm gonna lift that right leg here and drop. Lift the left and drop. That's one set. Let's go ahead and get started. For 7, left, 6, bring the right up and down, left and down. For 4, 3, don't forget your breath. Keep that activation. 2, lift that right, left. Remember, we're squeezing and lifting all the way through our glutes and lower back and lower core. Now let's go ahead and bring our toes together. So feet are at center here, and we're gonna float our legs up here and flutter kick for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and drop those toes here. We're gonna now go into our straddle up, pop out. So we're gonna bring our toes out nice and wide into our straddle. We're gonna lift our legs, pop them out, bring them in, and touch them down. I'm gonna show you what that looks like here. Straddle up, out, in, and down. Let's go ahead and do 8. Bring it up, out, in, down. 7. Bring it up, out, in, down, up, out, in, down. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome job. We are more than halfway there. Let's go ahead now. We're gonna float our legs up in straddle and pulse out for 8. It's gonna look like this. Let's go ahead and get started. Lift those legs in straddle, pulse them out for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring those toes back down. Now we're gonna go into our fold, and we're gonna do this with proper form, small ball, creating a small ball, and then opening up into our floated front belt. And again, you can use your hands here to guide yourself down and up, keeping that core nice and tight, driving this movement with all of these muscles here. We're gonna go ahead and lower, and I'm gonna show you what that looks like. So bringing our arms and legs together, folding here at the hips, bending the knees and elbows, bringing them tight into your chest. So knees tight into chest, elbows into chest, heels into glutes here, chin into chest, and you have a nice small tight ball. And we're gonna go ahead and slowly open up. So using all that core activation and that glute activation as we extend our legs up and out. We're gonna go ahead and extend those legs back, lift our chest up, roll the shoulders back and down, and open up into that front belt float. So we're gonna do these a little bit quicker. It's gonna look like this. And I should say a little smoother and more fluid. We don't want to necessarily do quick just yet. We want those nice, slow, and controlled movements. And a good way, again, another indicator here is minimal movement with the hammock. So ultimately, you want to get to where the hammock is just a tool, a small piece of stationary fabric where you can fold into that small ball or into that folded position, and then open up, floating and levitating here with minimal to no movement of the actual hammock. So let's go ahead and come into our small ball here, knees into chest, heels into bum, elbows into chest, nose into knees, and go ahead, tighten up that core, extend, open up into a floated front belt here, and fold for 1. Open back up, 2. Go ahead and get your desired amount in, whether it's just a few today, or whether you're going for the full 8. We're halfway there if you are. Open back up for 4. Fold 3. We're gonna take a little rest after this. 2, 1 more. Full complete set, open all the way back up. And we're gonna fold all the way back down. This time we're gonna stay down. And here, loosey-goosey, so no tight balls. You can go ahead and bend at the elbows, drop your forearms to the mat, let them just rest here. Let your legs be soft. Wiggle out your toes, circle out your ankles. Even if you want to maybe use your hands on the mat to just sway the body right to left as you hang from the hammock. Let gravity really pull you down here. So I want you to really surrender yourself into this front belt, fold, and just breathe and relax. Soften that lower back. All those muscles we just fired up, let them breathe, let them be, let them soften. Give them a little break before we ask them to do this one last hold for today. Slowly, if you are swaying, come back to center stillness. Just allow yourself to organically come to a stop. Let the hammock come to itself here. Or come back to center. Okay, so once back at center, we're gonna go ahead now and find all those muscles once again. Tell them wake back up. We're gonna open back up into our floated pose. So actually, let's go ahead and we're gonna start on the ground and float from our standing position. So you can come up by walking forward or straight from our hang, whatever feels good, whatever you're wanting to do here. If you need to readjust, this is a great time to do that. Go ahead and readjust that hammock at your hip flexors. Come back to center and extend those legs back out into a straddle position. So now finding your hand position, or whether you're gonna hold at the sides and try to challenge yourself by alternating here, having that safety of the hammock at your side, whether you want to bring your arms down, fingers pointed to the mat, or whether you're ready to open up those arms here, lifting that chest, whatever it is today. I challenge you to work towards an 8-second hold. So whether you are at 1 second or 8 seconds or even more, let's go ahead and do this together, okay? So big breath in. Let's go ahead and float, lift those legs up. You can send them out, nice strong activation here. And hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fold. You guys are amazing. Wherever you're at today, this is the part where I wish I could see you, but I know that you're growing and I know that you are making strides, and I can't wait to hear and see more. Take a big breath with me as we just hang in our fold for one more moment. Let's go ahead and bring our hands and feet down slowly to the mat. Start to walk forward past your center point, coming to front belt tension, allowing the hammock to slowly pull you up, and stopping here in a neutral or half fold, hands on the top of the knees. Allow the crown of the head to hang and just breathe. Ground your feet into the mat, extend the knees and slowly body roll up, drop the tailbone and stack each vertebrae one at a time, nice and slow. All right, so for our cool down today, we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna go and dive, literally, into our hammock. And we're gonna start off with a little belly stretch in our cocoon and make a full 360 inside of our hammock. So this is one of those that you won't be able to see me as much as hear me. So I will do my best to verbally direct you as we go. At any point in time, if you are following along, of course, you can peek outside of your hammock, look at your device, and see what it is that we're doing. But let's go ahead and get started. We're going to come to the back side of the hammock. And here we're going to find the back edge of the hammock. So remember, we were folded, a lot of us. So make sure that you take your time, unfold the hammock. We're going to want it open. So if you have to, you know your hammock best, go ahead and open it up. But take hold of that back edge of the hammock. And what we're going to do is we're going to gather maybe about 3-4 gathers. So about 2 feet of hammock in our hands. We're going to hold on to that hammock with both hands here, come back to our center, and push our hands forward so we open up the rest of the hammock material in front of us. As we push forward, we're going to take one bent knee and bring it inside of the hammock. So I'm going to take my right knee, bring it inside of the hammock here, and then dive my hands through the center to give myself a little bit more balance. My left foot is grounded into the mat here. I'm at center point for now. I'm going to reach forward and find the front edge of my hammock. I'm going to shake it out here and gather it so I have a nice tight or taut material here in front of me. So depending on how long your hammock is, you might have to gather a little extra. In anti-gravity, this is called toro. So here, I'm going to start to lean forward, opening up those hands nice and wide, creating this little basically pouch for me to dive into. I'm going to lean forward, lift my standing foot or heel off the ground, and diving into my hammock here, lifting that standing foot and bringing it in the hammock. Bringing both feet all the way inside. I'm going to extend my arms out nice and long here so my body is in one nice long straight line. My belly is pressed down into the hammock here. Feel a little lower back arch, a little stretch here in that lower spine. So if it is too intense here, go ahead and take a little quarter turn onto that left side now. We'll all meet up there in a moment. If this is feeling good for you, nice stretch through the abdomen where we fired everything up. Take a big breath in, and on the exhale from your belly button all the way up through your chest, belly, arms, shoulders, hands, reach those hands or fists forward with the hammock in hand all the way to the room in front of you. And on the next exhale, continue reaching forward and from the belly button down through the lower abdomen, through the pelvic bones, hip sockets, tops of the thighs, knees, and toes. So to reach your arms and legs in both directions, big stretch. On the next exhale, soften the body here. And we're going to go ahead and do a quarter turn onto our left side so that you should be able to see through your hammock, or you're looking to the left side of your room here, essentially inside of the hammock. Still holding on to the front edge of the hammock with your pincher fingers, which is your thumb and your pointer finger here. Arms are extended. Legs are extended here. We're going to bend at the hips and bring bent knees into our chest. Bend your elbows, bring your elbows into your knees. Squeeze your heels into your glutes here. Tuck your chin into your chest and your nose into your knees here. So what we're doing is we're creating the smallest little compression ball we can. So big breath in, squeeze into this little small ball. Remember, heels into glutes, knees into chest, elbows into knees, chin into chest. Big breath one more time. As you exhale now, releasing and extending the body here nice and long. Start to press your belly forward and start to reach your arms and legs back to the room behind you, creating a crescent bend with your body and a nice big stretch here in the arch of your spine. Big breath, press that belly forward, reach those arms and legs back. And on the next exhale, release by bending at the hips, folding back into that small ball. So we're going to do 5 of these, but with a little more fluidity here. So knees into chest, elbows into knees, heels into your bum and nose into knees for small ball. Big breath here. Inhale. Exhale, open up into crescent bend. Inhale. Exhale, small ball. Exhale, crescent bend. Go ahead now in the next few moments, take some silence and continue these sets. Matching your breath with your movement and finding that fluidity of motion. One more big stretch here in crescent bend. And after you've completed your sets, go ahead, soften the body and turn onto your back. Another quarter turn here. And we're gonna do one more quarter turn onto the right side. So now opposite the other side, we're looking through, essentially looking through that right side of the hammock to the right side of your room. Arms are still extended high above the head. Pincher fingers are holding on to that front edge and legs are extended. Let's go ahead and bend at the hips, fold into our small ball once again now on our right side. So elbows into knees, knees into chest, heels into bum, nose into knees. Squeezing for this first one to create the smallest and most compressed little ball you can. Big breath as you hold here. And as you exhale, release, opening up the body here nice and long. Take a big breath in as you press your belly forward into the hammock. Reach those arms and legs nice and long behind you for your crescent bend. Big breath here. Take a little extra time in this first one. Exhale, fold back into your small ball. Let's go ahead and do our 5 sets. You're going to do these at your pace and your time. Take a big breath and find that movement and fluidity. Big breaths. Don't forget to inhale and exhale fully through the body as you open and close. And wherever you are on the next big crescent bend here, we're going to take a nice big breath and exhale, softening the body here. Taking our last quarter turn back onto our back now. We're going to do a couple more little cocoon stretches here. Go ahead and adjust so that you're nice and comfy. Your body should be melted into the hammock here. Hammock should be supporting you and just wrapped around your body, your hips, your legs, your arms, your shoulders. Pincher fingers are still holding on to the hammock. Arms are extended high above the head. Toes are reaching out to the back of the room here. We're going to take a big breath in. And as you exhale from your belly button all the way up through your spine, past your ribs, through your shoulder blades, past your shoulders, through your arms and out your fingertips here. Start to reach those fingertips as far as you can to the room here behind you. Continue to reach those arms out from the belly button to the fingertips. Now as you exhale next time, begin to extend from the belly button down over the lower abdomens, through the pelvic bones, hip sockets, over the top of the thighs, knees, calves, toes. Almost like you're being pulled in 2 directions, from your toes and your fingertips from your belly button. Take a big breath in, exhale, stretch. And as you exhale here, we're gonna go ahead and press those heels heavy, heavy into the hammock. As you press those heels down, you should feel your hips gently lifting off of the hammock. Press your shoulder blades heavy down into the hammock as well. So as your heels and your shoulder blades press down, separating the shoulder blades into the material below you, allow your hips to raise off of the hammock here just about a couple inches. Squeezing those glutes here, really lifting the hips up. Take a big breath. On your next exhale, release any and all tension and plop the body back into the hammock. Bending at the hips here, swaying at the obliques right to left. Just rocking slowly back and forth. Allow your body to sway in a C shape. Taking breaths with this here, slowly allowing yourself to come back to stillness now. So not forcing it, just allowing the hammock to find its way back to center. Once back at center, we're gonna reach up high, open up those eyes if they've been closed like mine have. Reach up high to find the back edge of the hammock, grab onto that back edge. Slowly start to pull yourself up to a seated position and bend both knees into your chest as you walk your feet out the front edge, or what was the back edge for me now, of the hammock. We're gonna take a brief moment here to just relax in a child's pose, maybe take a few breaths. So arms are out of the back side of the hammock still. If they're not already, or if it's not already, go ahead and draw the material of the hammock all the way to the back of your knees so that your legs are supported. Soften your spine and start to roll forward by bowing the crown of the head here, chin to chest. Allow your chest to fold onto your thighs. Wiggle out your toes, circle out your wrists, circle out your ankles. Take a big breath in, and as you inhale, feeling your chest fill with that fresh air, feeling your lungs expand, your rib cage expand, feeling your shoulders slightly lift to the ceiling. Maybe your belly fills and raises off of your thighs. As you exhale, really surrendering, releasing all of that oxygen and melting that belly and chest back into your thighs. We're going to do that 2 more times. Big breath in. Inhale, filling up that chest, belly, shoulders raise. Exhale, releasing and melting the chest back down. 1 more time. Inhale. Full, complete exhale. Now, as we come up, we're going to do this nice, slow, controlled, and with intent. We're going to keep our chin to our chest here. Go ahead and from the very lower part of the spine, maybe your tailbone, start to slowly body roll up by stacking each and every vertebrae, one at a time. Slowly extending the spine as you feel your spine straighten through the shoulder blades, coming up to the neck. Roll the shoulders back. Draw the crown of the head up and bring your gaze back up to neutral. We're going to go ahead, reach up high on that hammock, grab onto all that hammock and lift those hips, drop those toes down. We're going to do a little grounding here before I get into a little talk. So let's step away from our hammock. Separate our feet so that they're wider than hip distance apart. We're going to lift all 10 toes, and I want you to feel the balls of the feet, those points of the feet, and ground them down into your mat or into your floor here, and really root yourself back into the earth here. What we're going to do is keep those legs extended, spines nice and straight, roll the shoulders back and down, and extend those arms out nice and wide to both sides. Chest forward, chin up, take a big breath in with me. As you exhale, we're going to bend at the knees, bend at the hips, and dive forward by dropping the crown of the heads and arms. Here, allow yourself to just sway right to left. We're going to oil out those joints here in our ankles, our knees, our hip sockets. Whatever feels good to you here, close your eyes and get into this motion. Swaying your arms, your chest, your head nice and heavy. Slowly coming back to center stillness here. We're going to ground down with the points of the feet into the ground and extend up through the knees, up through the thighs, up through the hips, body roll all the way back up, roll the shoulders back and down, extend those arms out wide to both sides. Big breath in. We're going to do that 1 more time. Exhale, bend at the knees, bend at the hips, dive forward, drop the arms and crown of the head here, and sway your body right to left. Keeping a nice bend in the knees here, circling out those ankles, maybe circle out the wrists, circle out the elbows. Wave the crown of the head back and forth, getting a nice little neck opener, and slowly come back to stillness. We're going to go ahead 1 more time, ground down into those feet. Slowly start to extend up to the knees, hips, spine, shoulders back and down. Reach those arms out, chest forward, chin up. Slowly start to extend those arms now all the way up, reaching those fingertips high above your head, fingertips through the roof towards the sky, whether it's the sun or the moon that's shining for you right now. Bring your gaze up high too. Full body stretch, inhale. And as you exhale, drop the toes, palms come together, soften the body, bend at the hips and fold forward for your final bow. I absolutely appreciate each and every one of you for sharing this space with me, taking the time to show up,